Welcome to Telugu Academy. In today's class, we discuss Parliament and various legislative process or procedures which is followed in the Parliament. Just to have a brief understanding, when we say Parliament, we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. So even President is the part of the Parliament. So Lok Sabha is the lower house which is directly elected by the people, and we have Rajya Sabha which is upper house. We also call it as elders house, and we know it's a president who is the nominal executive or head of the nation. So when the bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha, then when it is passed, then it is sent to Rajya Sabha. When both the houses passes the bill, then it has to get assent of the president to become an act. To become an act, a bill has to pass in both the houses, and then the president's assent is also needed to make it a law. So for any legislative process, that is to formulate a policy, to bring a law, there is a parliamentary procedure. So it's not that just any bill could become a law. There has to be a procedure. So for example, in bill also we have few varieties. Like we have ordinary bill, we have money bill, we have financial bill, we have constitutional amendment bill. So all those bills are different in nature. So when we say bill, a bill is a basic thing, a basic document which converts into a law by following all those parliamentary procedures. And we also can say that few bills need simple majority, few bills need special majority, and few bills which has implications on federal system, or the bill which has a subject concerned with the state list or concurrent list, then such bills need to have a special majority with the support of more than half of the states. So we can say that first we need to understand what is bill, how many types of bills are there, for which bill they need to have a president's assent, which bill need to have simple majority, special majority, which bill is just introduced in the Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. So all these technicalities are needed to be understand. So in this class, we try to understand the parliamentary procedure by understanding the bill, the types of bill, and types of majority which are needed to pass a bill and to make a law. Okay. So we have a legislative procedures in Parliament. As we know, Parliament is the highest authority to frame any law. As we need to understand that we have three branches of the government. One is legislature, executive and judiciary. So in legislature, the policies are framed. So the representatives of the people who are also executive, they frame the policies. So for framing any law, to bring any law, there have to be a bill. A bill is a basic document which, after following all those procedure, will become a law. So here the legislative procedure is identical. When we say the legislative procedure, in general, both the procedures are identical in the both houses. That is, we have two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The procedure is similar in both the houses. Obviously, when the matter is about money bill, when the bill is money bill, then Lok Sabha has more power when compared to Rajya Sabha. And where we have other ordinary bills, then both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have similar powers. So that we'll discuss when we classify the bills, and based on those classification, we also distinguish the powers of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. But in general, for any ordinary bill, the legislative process is similar. That is, there have to be a quorum needed to run a house. Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should have a minimum quorum. When I say quorum, it's 1/10 of the members of that house should be present. For example, in Lok Sabha, at least 55 members should be present to run the house. To start the business of the house, a minimum number of members of that house need to be present. That is what we call it as a quorum. Quorum is 1/10 of the member of the house needed to be present to initiate the business of the house. Similarly, in Rajya Sabha, we have 25 members. A minimum 25 members need to be present to run the house. That is, this is a minimum quorum. So, as we know, Lok Sabha is a larger body. Members are more in the Rajya Sabha, and in Lok Sabha, which is a representative of the states, we have half of the members, at least nearly half of the members are present in the Rajya Sabha. So Lok Sabha, again, it is presided by the speaker and assisted, or in the absence of the speaker, we have a deputy speaker who presides the Lok Sabha. And similarly in Rajya Sabha, we have chairman and deputy chairman who presides Rajya Sabha. When we say chairman, chairman is Vice President of India. Vice President of India will act as a chairman of the Rajya Sabha. When we say the legislative procedure in the parliament, right from drafting a bill or right from introduction of the bill in either of the house, they follow a due process. A procedure is followed, like first introduction of the bill, then we have a first reading, then second reading, then after second reading those are given to select committees, then after committees we have a third reading where clause by clause debates are done. Then after that it is undergone to voting. Then if it is passed in that house, it is sent to another house. The similar procedure is applied in the next house. Then after passing the bill in that house, it is sent to the assent of the president. The president has the veto power. The president can accept the bill, can return the bill, or can reject the bill. So we have a parliamentary procedure. We'll understand to what kind of bill, what kind of procedure is implemented. So generally speaking, the legislative procedure is identical in both the houses of the parliament. Every bill has to pass. Every bill has to pass through the same stages in each house, because again, when we say the first reading, second reading, sending to committees for detailed study of such provisions in the bill, in either of the house, in Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha, the procedure is similar. The procedure is identical. So in this slide, what we need to understand is, for any bill to become an act, it has to follow a prescribed procedure which is similar in both the houses. The only thing is, the power of houses may differ. For example, when I said money bill is introduced only in the Lok Sabha. Money bill cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has no power to reject the money bill. Obviously, Rajya Sabha can discuss and debate on such bills, but it cannot return or reject such bills. And only in Lok Sabha it is introduced by a prior permission of the president. So we'll discuss when we just discuss about the bill. But otherwise, what we should understand is, in both the houses, the procedure is similar. So what is a bill? What is a bill? It's a very common name. Bills are the primary things which will, by following all those procedures, will become a law. So a bill is a proposal. It's a proposal which, if accepted by both the houses, and if it is given assent by the president, then such bill will become a law or act. So primarily, to bring any law or to bring any legislation, we need to introduce a bill. So whatever the law government will wanted to bring, so that law has to be initially prepared as a draft bill. and such bill has to be introduced in either of the house depending upon the nature of the bill. So a bill is a proposal for legislation. A bill in itself is not a legislation, but it's a proposal. It's a primary draft where by having all those procedures followed, if it is passes all those procedures, then it will become a law. So a bill is a proposal for legislation that becomes an act. When I say act or law, it's same. It becomes an act which is duly enacted. It is by passing all the procedures. So once it is duly enacted in sense, if both the houses passes the bill, then by president's assent it becomes an act. So bill is a proposal for the legislation. So it's a first step. It's the first step of the law. The first step of the law is to draft a bill. We need to draft a bill. We need to introduce the bill in the house, and there will be a parliamentary procedure which a bill has to pass all those procedures to become an act. So what kinds of bills we have? So in general, before getting into ordinary bill, money bill, financial bill, or constitutional amendment bills, in general, the bills are of two types. So the bills may be of two kinds. One is public bill and one is private bill. When we say public bill, one thing we need to understand that the executive or the member of parliament has a dual role to play in our parliamentary system of democracy. Member of parliament is also part of the executive. Who is executive? So executive is the head of the ministry or head of the department. The same person who is also the member of the parliament will become the head of the executive in our system of parliament. That is, we have a council of ministers which is headed by the prime minister. So in council of ministers we have portfolio system. That is, the members who got elected or nominated to the Rajya Sabha also. We have that provision in India, which generally do not have in British parliamentary system. But in India, the member of the parliament can only become the executive or the part of the executive. And so we have a council of ministers. Within the council of minister, we have very core group, that is cabinet ministers. So any minister who introduces the bill will become a public bill. So public bill is also called as government bill, because here the government is the executive. Executive is the highest authority, to run the government or to frame the policies. So the minister or the member of the council of ministers can introduce the bill, which is called a public bill. We have a private bill. Private bill is introduced by the member of the parliament who is not a minister. So private bill here is maybe the member of the parliament or MP, maybe from ruling party or opposition party, maybe from Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. If he is not a minister or if he is not an executive, and that if that person introduces the bill, such bills are called private bills. So this is a brief thing. This is a general understanding what is public bill and private bill. Public bills are those bills which are introduced by a minister or a part of the executive, and private bills are the bills which is introduced by a non-minister. So in general we have two kinds of bills, public bills and private bills. So we generally give importance to public bills. Public bills, if public bills are not passed in the house or in the parliament, then the government would face a no confidence motion, or there might be a fall of the government, there might be a dissolution of the Lok Sabha. So such importance is given to the public bill. Generally what happens is public bill will have a support of the parliament, because as we know, we have a majority party system. Whoever has majority in the house will generally run the government. So public bills are generally deemed to gain support in the house of the parliament. Private bills are not considered that important, because might be they are not introduced by the executive, or they might not have much important subject to be dealt with. So that is one general classification of a bill, that is private bill and public bill. And here the bill are of these categories also, depending upon the importance of the bill, depending upon the nature of the bill. We have four kinds of bills. That is, one is ordinary bill. Ordinary bill under Article 107. We have money bill. Money bill are most important bills here. Money bills under Article 110. We have financial bills. We have financial bills under Article 117, and we have constitutional amendment bill. This is important, constitutional amendment bill under Article 368. Even under finance bill, we have two kinds, that is finance bill and 1 and finance bill 2. Again, this we'll discuss, which is also important from the point of examination, because we'll get few questions from this. Importance of a money bill, what is the difference between money bill and finance bill, again difference between finance bill 1 and finance bill 2, where these bills will generally introduced, what is the role of president in such bills, what is the role of speaker, where we generally find joint sitting when there is a deadlock between both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, or if the bill is not passed, then there creates a deadlock if it is for more than 6 months. So what happens is, few bills here, for example money bill, on money bills we do not generally have a deadlock, because Lok Sabha has more power to pass money bills, because Rajya Sabha generally cannot reject the money bill. They have to pass it within the time span of 14 days. If the Rajya Sabha keeps the bill for more than 14 days, then it is deemed to be passed. So we have a few importance attached to the nature of the bills. So here what we generally need to understand is, bills are of four types. We need to also remember the articles, they are important. As we know, we have an annual financial statement, generally we call this as budget. We have budget under Article 112. Under Article 112, we have a budget, annual financial statement. Budget is not mentioned in the Constitution. We generally call it as an annual financial statement. Informal we call as a budget. It is mentioned in Article 112. So all these articles are important in terms of parliamentary procedure. What are ordinary bills? We have ordinary bills. Ordinary bills are the bills which can be introduced in either house of the parliament. That is, ordinary bills can be introduced in the Lok Sabha, can be introduced in the Rajya Sabha, and in general most of the bills of the government are ordinary bills. Because there are very few bills which carries very significant things, and probably very few bills which are categorized as money bills, which are categorized as finance bill 1, or which are categorized as constitutional amendment bills, where the bill is intended to amend the constitution. So most of the bills, in general, most of the bills are ordinary bills, and for ordinary bills we need to have a simple majority. Only simple majority is sufficient to pass the bill in the house. So it's very simple process, because what simple majority is, half of the house voting is a simple thing. Whoever comes to vote, a majority of them, if votes towards the bill to pass the bill, then the bill gets passed. So it's a simple thing, and most of the bills are ordinary bills. When we say money bills are those bills which has a significant thing regarding the taxation, regarding the matters of expenditure or revenue of consolidated fund of India, or which is concerned with the contingency fund of India, or any such matter which has significant in raising the revenue or decreasing the revenue, or we have altering the revenue or taxation process. So whatever the things which are concerned with the matters regarding money are money bills. We will discuss this when we specifically talk about the money bills. So money bills are important because they have significance regarding the taxation or regarding Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India. So money bills are introduced only in the Lok Sabha. Here money bills are introduced only in the Lok Sabha, and for that prior permission of the president is also needed. So before money bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha, the president has to give his assent. And one thing, once the Lok Sabha passes the money bill, before making it to the Rajya Sabha or before introducing it in the Rajya Sabha, the speaker has to endorse that this is a money bill. So that is the significance what we have regarding money bill. We have finance bills also. In finance bill, we have finance bill 1 and finance bill 2. Here all finance bills are not money bills, but all money bills are finance bills. So even finance bills, few finance bills have few implications. Few finance bills also dealt similar to money bills. As we know, we have a constituent amendment bill. These are also important. When we say Article 368, it is regarding the constitutional amendment. So in constitutional amendment, to amend the constitution, we generally have three types of majority. One is simple majority, that is simple majority of the people coming and voting. Then we have a special majority. Special majority is we have 2/3 of the majority. 2/3 of the majority present and voting, and that 2/3 should be more than half of the total members of the house. So that is what we have, 2/3 of the majority. We call this as a special majority. One is a simple majority and one is special majority. And we have other type also where the bill will be passed by special majority of the parliament, and then such bill also needed a support of more than half of the states if the subject concerned is. So these are the classifications of the bill, and we'll discuss these things in detail. We have lot of understanding should be made on these bills. One thing is we need to compare public bill and private bill. Then we need to understand various ordinary bills and the procedure which is followed in the parliament. We need to also understand the difference between money bill and ordinary bill. We need to understand the difference between money bill and financial bill. So in coming class, we would be dealing with these bills in detail, and we will be also dealing the parliamentary procedures to bring this bill into act. So we'll continue this topic in our next class. Thank you for being with me.